Never open a carbonated beverage right before you start trying to do stand-up on video. So before I tell jokes, this is a true story. I'm not embellishing at all. Yesterday, I'm driving down the road. There's a guy holding a sign in the road that says slow. So I slowed way down and I look around and there's a truck over there that's maneuvering, and that's why he's there, keeping an eye on things. And he shakes the sign at me and I'm like, all right, I slowed down, way down. And I'm trying to figure out, do I pass him on the left? Do I pass him on the right? And he shakes the sign at me again, which my brain interpreted, well, I'm going so slow now. Maybe he means go ahead and go, just don't go fast. So I'm like, all right. So I sped up, and as I passed him, the guy looked at me like, what is wrong with you? And that's when I realized, I bet the other side of that sign says stop, and you don't know which way you're holding it. So, for the limited amount of time that we can keep civilization going, it's going to be the result of those of us that understand what's going on doing the thinking for everybody. Welcome to Travis Laughs. Okay. As I practice doing stand-up, I appreciate the support you're offering by watching this. Having said that, I need to tell the people who keep saying to me, Travis, I'm sorry, I'm behind several videos, or Travis, I haven't watched any of your videos yet, I'm so sorry. You guys, I wasn't trying to add stress to your life or add to your to-do list. Quite the opposite. The whole point of me doing this is so that when you've had a tough day, you can go, I wonder what Travis is up to, and you can hit play and have some laughs. That was the whole goal. If I wanted to add to your to-do list and add stress to your life, I would have done something different. Like I would have been a college professor. All right, class, your next assignment is due on Monday. It's a 16-page essay on the practical applications of nihilism and why nihilism is essential to any philanthropic endeavor. Or I could have been a football coach. Jenkins, when you dislocate your shoulder, you don't just let yourself down, you let the whole team down. Now get down and give me 50 push-ups. Or I could really take it up a notch, and I could have worked for the DMV. I see. Well, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to fill out the 3-page Form 1217. We're going to deny that application and issue you the 17-page Form 1203. You cannot actually get the 17-page Form 1203 until you've been denied for the 3-page Form 1217. If you would like to fill that form out, what I need you to do is read this paragraph and sign at the bottom so I can issue you the 2-page application for the 3-page Form 1217. Hey, it's never funny to make fun of the DMV. You are a valuable person. You're worthy of love. I am sure you have many admirable traits and characteristics. Your sense of humor, however, is garbage. And your expression of outrage, pretty lame, really. So just go away. That joke right there, that's going to get me fired as the director of the Olympics opening ceremony in the year 2047. So I'm not trying to add to your stress or give you additional things to do. Having said that, though, I've noticed that of the dozens of people who were kind enough to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like only half of them are actually watching the videos. Probably less than that, because I'm assuming my mom is watching them over and over again, because that's what mothers do. They support their kids no matter how silly our endeavors are. And what I think is happening is that a bunch of people thought, I like Travis, he's a nice enough fella, I'll support his endeavors here, subscribe. But then when they get a notification that I put up a new video, they look at it and go, oh, I just can't even with this. You know what? That's perfectly fair. I went dip netting earlier this week, and for those of you that don't know, dip netting is where you take a bunch of long poles and you fasten them together, and at the end there's a big circle with a net in it, and you push that out into the water, and you hope that a salmon gets caught in the net, and you pull it in and stick it in your freezer. So as I stood there, largely submerged in cold water, waiting and waiting, hoping some action will come my way, a little bit bored, and surrounded by other people who are getting a lot more action than I was, while seagulls flew overhead, squawking violently at me, and I realized sooner or later, one of them is gonna shit on me. I had this sudden insight, God damn if this isn't high school all over again. Because I was outside cellular service while I was down there, I've missed out on a lot of news. Have you guys been following the news? Can you fill me in on what's been happening? The White House, for example. Has it been failing miserably to sufficiently address a situation, or has it been engaging in an overreach of power? The American male, completely neutered, or engaging once again in toxic masculinity? Congressional Democrats, failing to work together, or turning the country socialist overnight? America's children, are they respectfully preparing themselves to be the leaders of the future? Or are they calling the entire concept of adulthood into question, suggesting that it's a myth and we're just a bunch of chemically enhanced erection freaks who would rather burn fossil fuel than make sure there's a planet left for them when they're our age? Women, making great gains in equality? Or are they just doing that, I can't do this joke? I'll go back to teasing everyone else. The GOP, were they the champions of small government this week? Or did they pass a ton of new bills about who can and can't vote? The CIA, FBI, NSA, were they protecting America's rights to free speech? Or the sale, possession, and recreational use of marijuana has been legal in Anchorage for a while, which has informed my newest favorite pastime, sitting on the grass at the city center downtown, across from the pot shop, and just waiting for people to come up and try to parallel park. It is fascinating. It's not only funnier than an episode of Simpsons, it can take longer too. Speaking of drugs, have you ever done so much drugs you start hearing voices? That happened to me for the very first time the other day. I popped a Viagra and a voice in the back of my head said, "Man, why don't you leave that poor lady alone?" The last thing I want to address with you guys today is I want to reassure you I don't actually do any drugs at all. I mean, I drink coffee and alcohol. Technically, I guess they're drugs, and they're way worse for you than marijuana is, but they're legal throughout the entire United States, so they must be okay. Now, I only told you the joke about Viagra because it was funny, and that's in keeping with my new policy. Whenever it comes to sex, do it for comedic effect. Is that wrong? See you guys next time. Just as many times as it takes. Or I don't remember the joke here.